Hey friends, Dr. Vicky here. Hope you're all having a great day. I am going to share with you today something that's left a big impression in my mind for many years, and it's the KISS principle. KISS stands for keep it simple, stupid. I don't like the word stupid, but it's just a reminder that we don't have to make our life so complicated and we can be very happy. And it applies to so many things. So I learned it in chiropractic school, which was wow. Well, I graduated 33 years ago, so it was quite a while ago. But I didn't, there's a lot I don't remember from that, but this I'll always remember. And it was a Dr. DiGiacomo. He taught philosophy to us. And chiropractic is an art, science, and a philosophy because anything that's pure science can't really be that significant because we're so much more than science. Science is created by man, but we were created by our creator and we're part of nature, right? We are part of the earth, just like the trees and the plants and the animals and the insects and the worms and everything. And the germs, even, they are part of nature. So everything has a reason, everything has a purpose. And as humans, we tend to complicate things and make them like to prove that we are the elite species. And although it's true that we are much more resourceful and we have different ways of using our intelligence that can be very beneficial, um, in many ways, we've also done a lot of destruction with all our brilliance. And I truly think that by going back to the basics and keeping it simple, let's just say silly because it's a nicer thing to say, then I think we can find much more meaning and value in life and also for the future generations and the future planet of the planet. So I put together a little diagram that I want to share with you. And actually, one of the things I'm ultimately getting to today is my little kit, which is it's a recovery kit, and we'll talk about that later. So let's just get back to the KISS principle. And I'm going to relate it to lots of different things. KISS principle. Let's start with diet. Or let's just start with this. Live a simple life. Less is more. Do you have friends that are minimalists? Do they seem less stressed? Do they have less things in their home, less things they're attached to? Are they more on time than most people, more organized? Well, that's the beauty of living a more simple life and less is more, because when we have too many things, we tend to misplace them, we tend to worry about them, things like that. But as we declutter our lives, we actually declutter our minds, and it's so powerful for us. Chiropractic is a very simple principle as well. And we're going to get to that about healing naturally through the KISS principle. We're going to talk about foods through the KISS principle. We'll talk about exercise through the KISS principle. And we'll talk about, our environment through the KISS principle. So let's start with food. Eating a simple diet is so powerful because our bodies can recognize the food that we put in it when they're simple and basic and there's no processed chemicals or foods included in our diet. So in other words, nothing that comes from a box or a can. Otis, come here. So I'm here. I want to show you something really cool. We got some chickens here. I organized our garden beds here. I don't know if you can see. They're back here. Okay, and I covered them, and see, these are truly free range chickens because they're not in coops. So the chickens are living a simple life, and the beauty of that is the food that they're producing for us is going to be so much healthier and wholesome because they were living in a healthy, wholesome environment and they were very happy. So with food, whenever we eat food, we want to eat free range chickens, okay? We want to eat free range and organic eggs, because we know those chickens were happy and we're eating the essence of that meat or that egg when we eat it, not just the physicalness of it, but the actual energy of it, because we are energy beings. We're not just material beings, right? When we pass, our spirit goes on and our bodies, ultimately decompose if we were left to nature. Just like everything in nature, like trees will grow from one little seed or an acorn, and then eventually they will naturally die. But that dead tree will decompose and be homes for animals, and that the decomposing of that of the trunk will actually grow mushrooms and things like that, and worms and insects that will break down that matter and bring it into the earth and make that earth richer again. And that's why I'm saying simple. Keep it simple, silly. It's so simple. Nature is so simple. We are nature, okay? And the more we can think that way, the better world we'll leave when we're gone, when our bodies are gone, for the future generations of animals, insects, people, plants. And that's really something we need to think about, because if we continue the way we're going, we're just going down a path of destruction, okay? And we'll be lucky if the earth is in good shape even 20 years from now, if we continue on this path. And we really need to think of way past ourselves, but we have to look, at our children and their children, and at the earth and this all the different species that are disappearing so quickly because we haven't cared for them the way we should, and we've only cared for ourselves at this present time, making our lives as easy as possible. Easy isn't always the same as simple, okay? Because easy can be lazy too, and not putting things away, or not cleaning up when after you go camping or on a picnic, and just leaving your trash everywhere. Okay, so that's really a big deal of simplicity, is leaving things as you found them, right? Or better than you found them. So when it comes to food, we want to eat a simple diet, no processed foods, organic foods, maybe not a million different things in one meal, because that's just more work for our body to digest. So just a few things, like let's say for dinner last night, we had like organic pork chops, we had sweet potatoes, we had chopped up cabbage sauteed with garlic and oil, and we had a beautiful salad. And that was such a nourishing, healthy, and satisfying meal, okay? And, with drinks, water. Drink really good water, healthy water that, has been maybe not bottled in plastic, but that came from a good source, or if you have a good filtration system in your home, or something that filters your water, that's what you should be drinking. You should be drinking a lot of that, because our bodies are made primarily of water, so we need to replenish that. Eat local, okay? Whatever, if somebody's, if there's farmers in your area, and they're willing to sell you food, buy food from them, especially if it's organic food. When it comes to sugar, only eat naturally occurring sugar. Don't, eat like white sugar, but maybe fruit sugar. Get your sweets from your fruit. Only eat when you're hungry. That's really powerful way to live your life, because then, you've allowed that food to digest in your belly, and your body can now put its energy into doing other things, like, using your muscles, using your lungs, right? Metabolizing your food. All those processes that we don't think about, our bodies are busy doing. But when we're always eating, even when we're not hungry, then we're taking energy away, and our bodies are going to be less efficient and more inflamed. And that's the last thing we want. So eating food in season is really important. And now that we're in spring and summer and fall, we can easily eat foods that are in season. Start a garden. I'm going to say this more than once, even if it's a little pot, a garden with like pots, right? That you can just put some herbs in, or, a tomato pot, plant a tomato plant in a pot, or have your basil and your, parsley and your cilantro. Um, okay. And what else? So that kind of covers everything. And also when it comes to food, I think it's very important. Otis, come here. Come here. Leave the chickens. It's very important to not over season your food, because you want to really learn to appreciate the food that you're eating, the actual taste of it. And sometimes our taste buds can almost get so dulled out because we're over seasoning, over salting. But try to do a cleanse once a year minimum, so that you can clean out your taste buds and get rid of your cravings. And I have a great cleanse that I'm going to recommend. Or just one day a week, just eat, juice if you can, or just eat very lightly and purely. So there's lots of ways to eat simply and nourish your body through food. Let's talk about exercise. Exercise simply. So now that we're here in the spring, everyone's going to be gung-ho and rushing out to, get their workout on or whatever. Remember to start slow, because our bodies have been kind of stagnant over the winter. So I did some gardening, and of course I didn't stretch before, and I was really hurting later. We think we are ourselves from way back, but we're not, and the more sedentary we are, the more kind of dried out our joints get, and we really need to slowly work into our healthy body. Stretching daily I can't recommend more stretching daily, and you could do simple stretches like Shavasana. I'm sorry, like the sun salutations. I said Shavasana, that's the end of the sun salutation, which is when you're resting at the end and absorbing all the good work you did. And that's just as important as the actual practice of doing the sun salutation. Or you can just look at a book with simple stretches. Yoga's been around for, I think, over 3,000 years. So what I find is those things that have been around the longest are the most reliable. And chiropractic has been around since 1895, and modern medicine is relatively new, and it's constantly changing, and they're finding things that they thought were so amazing, causing cancer and hurting people. So trust the most natural, simple things that have been, through the test of time, like chiropractic, like acupuncture, like homeopathy, herbalism, naturopathy, essential oils. All these things are powerful healing modalities. And back to exercise, be consistent. Do it at least every other day, if not every day, something every day. So like I try to do a couple of sun salutations every morning, and then I'll do other things, go for walks, go for bike rides, go to the gym, do some weight training or machines. So again, you have to be consistent. You have to exercise on a regular basis. Your body needs it. It's like a machine that needs to be oiled and worked. If you left your car in the driveway for a week, your car's not going to run well. You can't leave your body for a long time without moving it in a healthy way. Okay, and then drive less. So let's say you have to go to the supermarket, take a spot, and I'm sure you've heard this, far away from the supermarket. Everyone always wants to get as close as possible, but what's so bad about actually like walking through the parking lot to get to your car? It's actually really good for you. And after an adjustment, I always tell people to walk. Don't get right in your car. Take some time to walk, because walking's so good. It lubricates your pelvis and your joints, and it helps settle you into the adjustment. We are living in such a sedentary society, and it's done nothing but gotten us fat, sick, and lazy. So since we're talking about sitting, I wanted to show you one of the parts of the wellness pack that I put together, the recovery pack, and this is it. It's a simple foam roller. It's very small, which is perfect because it's easy to throw in your bag or leave it in your car if you're going to a meeting or whatever. But I was sitting, and I don't sit much as a chiropractor, or I just don't like to sit, period. But if you have to sit, and I was sitting at a Zoom call, it's amazing because I'm just gonna, whoa, that was close. And that's real, people. My chair fell back, but I did not fall because I have this crappy little chair. All right, this is the foam roller. Put it right here. And I am now sitting, and I gotta say, it just feels really good. It's forcing me to sit up nice and straight. And during my Zoom calls, when I'm sitting for long periods of time, I will use this 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off. It's right there. It's forcing me to have a nice lumbar curve, a nice lumbar lordosis. Hey, chickies. All right, so this is the simple foam roller. Next thing we got is this block, which I will be sanding. I had them cut perfect size for this specific thing. And you just take the block, you put it under your foot. Can you see it? Let me go back a little more. Okay. And your knee is over your toes and you are leaning into the block. So it's stretching your Achilles tendon, it's stretching your calf. And when those things are nice and stretched and you're the bottom of your foot, what happens is you have more health and stability of your pelvis, your hamstrings, your calves, and your feet. So this one you do for a minute twice a day each foot, and it is very awesome. And this is one I didn't get to sand or stamp this, but these are really beautifully finished by me personally. And then the last part of our recovery pack, because we're talking about exercise, and this is actually part of stretching, is this very simple but ingenious device. So what it is it has these two loops. You put it behind your neck. You put your hands come down like this. Oh, shoot. 1 second here. It's a lot easier than it looks. All right. And make sure it's in the center. And then you're just going to go back and straight. Back and straight. And you're going to do this, are you ready? 100 times a day. It sounds so much. It's really not a lot. It actually feels so good. So when you're at a meeting, when you're at your computer, when you're watching TV, when you're watching your favorite YouTube video, use this. When you're at school, you can probably bring it to the classroom, I don't know, but if you're online at school, you can use this. And it's amazing. So we talked about exercise, and I talked about this recovery kit. It's $25, made and offered by my office, Full Life Chiropractic, and I highly recommend it. You're going to be fighting for it. Everyone's going to want one, but you only really need one for every couple of people in a family. Okay, so be consistent, start slow. We're talking about exercise, drive less, stretch daily. And I put this in, but I don't know why. Treat others and the earth as you want to be treated. So just like keep it simple, silly. Another saying I like is just treat others and the earth as you want to be treated, because everything you give comes back to you multiplied. So the kinder you are to the earth, the kinder the earth will be to you. The kinder you are to others, the kinder they will be to you. And it's just a good rule to live by. Let's just talk about healing naturally, because everything that we just talked about is about healing and healing simply, but healing naturally. So get your food from the garden, and hopefully you can just this year try to start a garden. Get herbs from your garden to flavor your food, and there's nothing better than fresh herbs on your food. My favorite herbs, again, are parsley, cilantro, oregano. I like dill. I love chives to chop up in my salad. And I feel like there's another one. Well, lavender is amazing just because it smells so good. And actually, we have lavender that lasted all through the winter here. And it's doing really well. So it's a hardy plant that you can actually put it in your food if you want, or you can just use it as sachets or just put it on your pillow, things like that. Heal naturally. The saying for chiropractic that we always say, the power that made the body heals the body, and it's couldn't be more true. So we were created from our creator, right? And then through our parents. And our body is so intelligent and so brilliant and so amazing, and it knows how to heal just like the earth knows how to heal, just like animals can heal in the wild without medications. And sometimes you might need a little help, and that's what modern medicine's for. But really, we should not depend on medicine for healing. Many herbs from our garden are healing. Many weeds are healing, like dandelion roots, really high in magnesium. Dandelion leaves are high in magnesium. Clover, which people consider a weed, is very good for the body. So many things that are just wildly growing in your yard are so powerful for healing, and that's a whole nother video. Whole food supplements. When you do take supplements, which you should be because it's hard to get your food, all your foods, vitamins and minerals from your food, whole food supplements, and I love Standard Process, and I've been using them forever. And I've been to their plant where they have the largest organic farm in America that makes supplements, and I know for a fact that they really do take pride. That company has been around for 90 years. Again, if it's been around a long time, then you know they're doing something right. Okay, so I highly recommend Standard Process. Try not to take medicines because they're chemicals. Chemicals, our bodies don't know what to do with chemicals. So they can actually like deposit in our organs, and like our liver, kidneys, and colon, and cause illness and inflammation. And really, it's better to always look for natural sources for healing. And sometimes you do need it, but I'm just saying, always, that should be your last resort, okay? Spend time in nature alone, because when you're in nature, you can actually hear possibly some guidance from the trees, from the rocks, from the plants. There's so much more than meets the eye in the world, and because we are from nature, everything is from nature. So listen, observe, ask for help if you need it, and then just wait for the answer, because it is truly a sanctuary. I hope this talk helped you. I hope you'll consider getting this recovery pack, and I hope you think about how you're going to care for your body going forward, how you're going to care for your piece of the planet. Maybe you have a lawn that you've been using pesticides on, and this is the year you're going to take a break from it and try just not using pesticides, and see what beautiful wildlife comes if there's hummingbirds or mosquitoes. I mean, mosquitoes serve a purpose. I know people hate mosquitoes, but because they're sucking up all the chemicals, their stings are much more toxic. But what if we just stopped using so many chemicals on our lawns? How much better would the pollinators be? And then we need the pollinators, butterflies and bees and dragonflies and birds. We need them to allow us to have food, because they carry the seeds, and they pollinate the flowers, and the birds need them. And then and everything has a natural result, right? So if we just leave as is the land and observe what happens when we do that, and possibly add good things to the land, like good fertilizer that's going to be natural, like chicken poop, or throw down some clover seeds, which are like great because the birds love them. There's so many natural things we can do to our lawn that can really help heal the earth. And just because our lawn doesn't look manicured and bright green doesn't mean it's not beautiful. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I shed some light on some things maybe you knew already that I just reminded you, or maybe I just sparked a flame in you that makes you want to go and delve deeper into keeping it simple and live a simple life. Thanks so much for listening. Namaste.